Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. In today's tutorial, I'll be showing you how to draft a pencil straight skirt step by step. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe for more sewing tutorials. So for this tutorial, I'll be needing about 2 yards of fabric. So I'll go ahead and fold it into 4. So after folding, I'll have my zip allowance. That's the back part and the front part. So the back part will be having the zip allowance and then that's the front part. So after folding, I'll go ahead and leave 2 inches for zip allowance. So that's the 2 inches I've marked out already. So after I was done folding my fabric like this, the next thing I'll do is to mark out my starting point. So that will serve as my sewing allowance. So I'll be marking half an inch on the waistline. So that half inch that I marked on the waistline, that's the inches I'll be using to join my band to this skirt. So for this skirt now I'll be using about 1.5 for my band. So you can decide to use 1 inch, 2 inch depending on how you want the band to be. So for this tutorial I'll be using 1.5, that is 1.5 for my band. So I'll place my 1.5 on that half inch that you see me that I marked out already. So from there I'll get the full length of my skirt. Then I'll add 2 inches to fold it down, or if I'm using lining. So that's what I marked there. So after that I'll place my 1.5 inch on that half inch that I marked. Then I'll go ahead and mark my hip line. So for this my client, I'll be using 1.5 for her hip line. So after marking the hip line, the next thing I will do is to still place my 1.5 inch band allowance. That is my 1.5 inch for band. I'll still place it on that waistline where I mark the half inch to still mark my hip line and mark out my knee line. So for this knee line, I did not use exactly from my waist to my exact knee. So I came up by, so you can decide to come up from your knee line 2 inch or 3 inches. That's where I mark my half length skirt. So that way you get a perfect fitting after sewing. So from that point again, I'll repeat, you place your tip, you mark to your hip point, to your knee line and your full length of your skirt. So if you're just folding, and just add 2 inches to hem the down if you're not adding lining to it. So that's it. So after we are done with that, the next thing is to place our body measurement. So remember, for you to place your body measurement, you divide your waist and your hip measurement into 4. So with that in mind, we'll now start placing our measurement. So for my client, her waist is 34. So we'll divide it into 4. So we'll be having 8.5. I'll now go ahead and mark. That is, you divide your waist into 4, you mark one part of it. So I'll be adding that to the waist of this skirt. So I'll add my sewing allowance 2 inch, then 1 inch for my dart. If you're adding that to the front part of the skirt, you add your dart allowance for your dart. So after that, the next thing is our hip measurement. So for this measurement, our hip is 40. So I'll divide our hip into 4, that's 10 inches. Then I'll now add my sewing allowance. So remember, you will not add your dart allowance to your hip because your dart will not get to your hip points. So you add only that to your waist measurement. So for the knee line, since the skirt will not just look straight like that, it will be a bit fitted like the one you see at the beginning of this video. So we are going to minus from, so you can minus depending on how the person wants it to fit. You can minus from 4 inches, 5 inches or 6 inches from my hip measurement. So you divide whatever you have, you mark it. So for the client, you remove 5 inches from my hip. So we'll be left with 35 inches. We divide it into 4, then added 2 inches for our sewing allowance. So after you're done with that, whatever you have, make sure you mark the same thing from that knee line to the hemline. That's the down part of your skirt. So that way you get a perfect um, fitting. So after you're done with that, the next thing is to connect from our waistline to our hip line. You can either use ruler for this, or you can use your hand to connect it. And make sure you take note of the way I place my ruler, so that way you get a very nice curve. So you can use your hand to do this, or you use your ruler. So that's it. So after I are done marking, the next thing is for us to cut it out. If you have watched to this point, kindly hit on the subscribe button. Don't forget to like and drop a comment, and also share this video. So after drafting, we'll go ahead and cut our skirt out. So remember, you must not use the measurement that I use here. So this is for the sake of this tutorial, so you can use your own measurement. So this is it. So if you are not adding lining while sewing, you just hem that your 2 inches inward like this. That's it for this skirt. But for this tutorial, I will be using lining. So after cutting, I will now show you how to cut your lining. So you need to look closely how I cut this lining, because our main fabric is longer than the lining. So you see how I'm going to do it. So this is the lining I'll be using. So I'll go ahead and fold my lining into two. I'll be cutting the front part first, then I'll use my pin to secure it. So that way my lining will not be bigger or smaller than our main fabric. So you use your pin to secure it like this. So make sure that everything is aligning well, the lining and the cloth. Especially for the center part, this is the front that I'm cutting. Make sure it fits well. So after doing that, the next thing I will do is to go ahead and I will fold that part. Remember that 2 inches that I added? I've notched that place. I'll go ahead and fold it. So sometimes you can add more than 2 inches. So this rule still applies. So what you do is, wherever it is that you add, or how many inches that you added while cutting your main fabric, be it gown or skirt, you can still use this method. Just go ahead and fold it there from that part. You can decide to hold it down with pin. Then from that point, just watch where I'm putting my tape. You come down by 1 inch. That point there, that is the ending part of your main fabric that you added. Remember, it can be more than 2 inches or less than 2 inches. So whatever it is that you added to your main length, just make sure from that point you fold it. Then from that edge, you measure down by 1 inch. Then you mark. So make sure you mark it on both sides if you want. I think marking it on both sides is perfect. You mark whatever you have on both sides. Are you seeing? Just come down by 1 inch, then you mark. So after doing that, you go ahead and place your tape from the beginning of this. You see what I did here? From the beginning of the tape, I put my tape to that chalk that I marked, then measure what I have there, and make sure that I have the same thing. Now go ahead and mark it till I get a straight line. Are you seeing? So after doing that, the next thing now is to cut it out. So after cutting, you make sure you make a notch on your lining and your main fabric, so that way you know the upper part of your skirt. So you see that the lining and the main fabric, they are not the same. So after using this method, just go ahead and just sew half inch to give you the same exact length of your skirt. So I'll go ahead and do the same thing on the back part of this skirt. I'll go ahead and secure the back part with pin. I'll also do the same thing the same way that I cut out the front part. I'll also do the same on the back part. Are you seeing? I'll go ahead and fold that point where I added the extra allowance that I added for my skirt. Since I'm cutting lining, I'll go ahead and fold it. Are you seeing? So once I fold it in, you can come down by 1 inch and mark. So I'll still do the same thing. I'll go ahead and place my tape from the beginning to that point that I marked up. Whatever I have there, I will now make sure I repeat the same thing straight until I get a straight line. So make sure that whatever you have on the front part is the same thing on the back part too. So that way after sewing, your front lining and your back will be equal. So are you seeing? In the front part I got 40, I think 42 inches or less than that. I also got the same thing on the back part too. So I'll go ahead and cut it out. So don't forget to always make a notch. So this way you don't need to start looking for your pattern. So how to sew this is very easy, because I might not be making a sewing. I will do it in another video. So it's just simple. Just place the down part of this your main fabric. Are you seeing? You sew it down. So after sewing the down, you go ahead and sew from the side to the ending part. So you see that after sewing, it will give you the same, are you seeing? It will give you the same exact length that you use. Hope you find this helpful, and thanks for watching.